the early days when we first started coming out into the streets, you hear about the protests. You tell your friends, you tell your family, you come in numbers. The streets would be filled from the start of the traffic light all the way until the end, sometimes going around the corner. And that was the first few months. And then time went on. And the martyr toll increased. And the lives in Gaza were decreasing. And our hope here was diminishing. And the only thing that was increasing throughout this entire genocide is the faith and the iman of the people in Gaza. How is it possible that all you see around you is death? All you see around you is children burning. All you see around you is children with their arms ripped off. Some children don't even have remains to their body anymore. And somehow their faith and their iman is still strong. And they're surrounded by death. Many of the people in Gaza were saying the smell alone was too much for us to bear sometimes. There were so many dead bodies all around Gaza that they could smell the smell of death. It got so bad in Gaza that dogs and cats were roaming around neighborhoods and eating the dead bodies' remains. See, for someone like you and I, our trials and tribulations, man, I'm cold right now. I don't have any gloves on. My jacket's wet. What are we going to do after this? Are we going to go eat? Are we going to go home? Mama, I'm coming home. Can we prepare something? Those are our trials and tribulations. The people in Gaza are witnessing every single day, 470 days long, cats and dogs roaming around the streets, eating the remains of their friends, of their family members. Those of you that are still lucky enough to have your mother or your father in your life, imagine the sight of seeing your mother or father and their torn limbs on the ground, and a cat and dog that is so starved due to this brutal occupation that they're wandering the streets looking for the remains of dead bodies. And yet we still complain about the issues that we have in our day-to-day lives. 470 days long, and so many people after 100 days gave up on us. So many people, after 6 months, they forgot about us. After a year, they asked us, why are you still protesting? After a year and a half, we're going to say, because we stood in these streets and look at Gaza now, Gaza is victorious. We stood in the face of this adversity, in the face of this occupation, in the face of these terrorists, in the face of Zionism, and we did not cower, and we did not tire, and that is because of individuals like yourselves who still attend day after day, week after week, month after month. Because I'll tell you what, Even though we knew that we would always come out victorious. Even though that we knew our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we were going to be victorious and we were granted victory from the start regardless. We know that ceasefire is not the goal. We know that ceasefire is just the beginning. This is a very, very long battle. This is just the start because liberation needs sacrifice. And the people of Gaza have sacrificed more than any single one of us ever will. There has been over 500,000 murders in Gaza. Don't let the numbers that the media shows you, don't let them fool you. There have been over 500,000 murders. And all that they sacrificed, it's not for us to cower down. It's not for us to tire down. It's for us to start working together, working with one another to make sure that liberation happens within our lifetime. So again, ceasefire is just a step. It is not the goal, it never was the goal. The goal will forever will be the dismantlement of the occupation, the dismantlement of Zionism, all the political prisoners to be free, every single Palestinian around the world to be granted the right of return, no matter what I can tell you, because that is our right of return. And one day, inshallah, very soon, all the Palestinians will be granted the right of return. And we will see a liberated Palestine from the river to the sea, inshallah. From the river to the sea. وعلى آله وصحبه ومن جاهد جهاده إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, today is day 470 of the most disgusting and cowardly war crimes committed against our people in Gaza. 470 days, and our resistance is still standing strong and proving to the whole world that Gaza will always be a graveyard for its invaders, inshallah. 470 days of us living the streets, week after week, until the ceasefire, inshallah, which is tomorrow, 8 January, Gaza time. However, this does not stop here. We will keep hitting the streets no matter what until the people of Gaza did not sacrifice their souls, sacrifice their loved ones, and sacrifice their lives for nothing. We will continue until liberation, inshallah. Everyone around me here today chose to stand with humanity and fight for justice and liberation. Despite everything we have seen, peace and blessings be upon you all, inshallah. As we go out in the streets here every week, we need to remember that we will never forgive, we'll never forget. Keep that in mind always. Let me ask this question here today. Listen carefully. Did our resistance in Gaza teaching? Will they come out and say we are not going to allow these terrorists to besiege us and occupy us and invade us anymore? We will do whatever we have to do to stop this and achieve our freedom and liberation for our people. Who is the violent one here? Our resistance are teaching common sense. Every action has a reaction. Every action has a reaction. So our resistance have been holding it strong against these terrorists for more than a year and a half. Do whatever you have to do to stop this and achieve the liberation and the freedom of our people. You know who these people are? It's our women in Gaza that bury their children. Raise their hand on Allah instead of complaining and saying, "Oh Allah, continue taking from our blood until you are pleased. Ya Allah, خذ من دمائنا حتى نرضى." You are not in Gaza. We We're teaching us verses in the Quran that we never understood before.
نعيش بحرية وخلقنا نعيش بحرية وحرية حرية وحرية حرية وحرية حرية ولا غزتنا الحرية ولا فلسطين الحرية وخلقنا نعيش بحرية.
I didn't know Cafe Landor over here is the #1 supporter to the Zionist entity. I want you to know that this coffee shop and this so-called, whatever it is that they call themselves, give their funds directly to the occupational regime. So we tell them, Cafe Landor, you can't hide. Make every single person inside hear you, that while they're having this meal, that they are funding the ongoing occupation of our brothers and sisters Palestine. You are funding genocide! This has been 76 years we've been protesting, since 1948, and you know we ain't resting. And while these so-called politicians sit in parliament debating and contesting, we will show them and we will defy them that we are going to keep hitting the streets and calling for a free Palestine until the complete liberation of the land. Free, free Palestine! That's 76 years we've been protesting, since 1948, and you know we ain't resting. And while you sit in parliament debating and contesting, sending cops on us, silencing and arresting, we will continue to fight and continue investing in our youth and in good people. Again, we ain't resting. On the streets, on the shelves, boycotting and divesting. Shout out to the BDS movement, apartheid food we ain't digesting. Free, free. Ethnic cleansing is what they are doing. Mass eviction on day to day. Kidnapping children is what they won't say. And no matter how many of those Zionists say that the old will die and the young will forget, but let's show them and let's tell them that you don't know our generation yet. Free. No good heart can deny the clear reality. It's good versus evil, a distinct disparity. genocide. It's not a conflict, it's an apartheid. It's not a conflict when it's one-sided, and it's not a conflict no matter how hard they try to hide it. So we are going to tell them in the streets of Toronto that this is a genocide! Because this ongoing war is not over against these baby bombers, and we will accept supporting them with our Canadian dollars. And we'll keep fighting for our free Palestine, and we'll keep reliving. Free Palestine, the gift that keeps on giving. Free Palestine, never forgetting, never forgiving. We'll keep fighting, never quitting, inshallah, God willing. Free! We chant from the river to the sea. What we mean by that is from the Mediterranean River up from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea, touching the deserts of Sinai up to the Galilee, one land united down to every single rock and tree. And whether it was South Africa or Germany, one thing is granted, evil never lasts, and what's been uprooted can be replanted. Free Palestine. Our wall here in the diaspora fighting for this Palestinian movement. What we have to do and what we will continue to do despite this ongoing ceasefire is we have to expose all the lies and hypocrisy online and offline. We shout loudly in the streets and we make the articles headline. We support the oppressed and we will be the lifeline for a resistance so pure in a land divine. So let the heavens hear your calling and mine, professing free.
Now again, this time, if you stand with the people of Palestine, but you are not Palestinian, make some noise! One chant to end the march. I want every single person that's here right now. If you have gloves on, take them off. Take your gloves off. I want to hear you clap. I want to hear every single person clap. I know I can see which one of you have gloves on right now. They're ignoring me. Listen! Thing that you can do. Now that inshallah the crossings are going to be opened, we are able to donate. We are able to get the humanitarian aid in through Hands for Charity, who is around somewhere with a box and a vest. Still here?
Free Palestine!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings and salutations be upon all of you. And like you guys already know, you have to be proud of yourselves from being amongst the righteous that actually chose to stand with us today, this Saturday. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our intentions and our efforts for actually being here, raising this word of justice. All we can say about the recent news is Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Which means God is greatest and we are thankful to Him. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd for what is happening in Gaza. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd for this ongoing genocide that is going on in Gaza. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd for all the buildings that have been destroyed. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd for all the lives have lost that paid the cost
for us to raise this flag of justice, to be here in Toronto today. And why we say Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd is because we accept what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Almighty, has written for us. This is the thing that we learn from our brothers and sisters in Palestine, and specifically in Gaza, the ones who have fought strong day in and day out for 470 days straight, and they have nailed this short-term victory. Is because they put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their forefront. They fight for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for anything else. This is what Allah has granted them, this victory. And us as Muslims, we say, we do not look forward to these small attainable victories. It's because our greatest reward is Allah's acceptance and our hereafter. This is why when we fight strong and we face this death with honor and dignity and with a smile on our face, this is why this life is not the thing that we are fighting for. We are fighting for the hereafter. This is our message here as Liberate Palestine 48 and onwards. This is what we advocate for. This is our message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings victory to the ones who are steadfast, who are resilient, who will fight for His name regardless of all the martyrdom, regardless of all the sacrifices that we've gotten. But this is only the beginning. This is the start of this liberation. I fear our hard work starts now. Everything we've been doing for 470 days and these ongoing demonstrations that were happening on the streets is nothing but a rehearsal to a revolution that we are hoping to actually achieve. This is a step forward to actually put forward this word of justice. We are basically purifying ourselves and our hearts and our intents by actually being here. We have to better ourselves, a better society. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept our effort due to what's in our intentions. This is what we learn from our brothers and sisters in Gaza. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them this atrocity, yet they are accepting to this cause. And I fear for this occupation, for what's going to happen to the tears of these little kids when they're seeing their parents and their martyrdom and they're the only ones left alive. These tears would mean so much that me and you will not be able to control what these kids are going to do to fight this greater system and greater evil. This ongoing occupation in Gaza for 470 days, Netanyahu has said that we are going to enter Gaza to eliminate Hamas, to eliminate the Palestinian resistance. But yet, 468 days later, he is waiting for Hamas's agreement to actually sign this document. What does it mean? It means this ongoing occupation has entered Gaza and they are leaving with an absolute defeat in front of all our eyes. Because Gaza has actually fought strong. Gaza has fought strong with their dignity. The people over there are fighting for our dignity. They are the ones fighting for this ummah. They are the ones fighting for our name. How can we honor them? Wallahi al-Azim, I swear that no matter what we do, we will not be able to repay them back for what they have done for all of us. And regardless of whether you are Muslim, Christian, Jewish, black, brown, or white, it's the factor of faith. It's the factor that we have all seen ahead of our eyes. The most televised genocide that happened in this era. But yet, this televised genocide, if moving forward it gets quiet, it will not. It's because I'm sure that we have brothers and sisters here in this community that will continue talking about Gaza, that will continue advocating. It's because once you are awakened, you cannot unsee. Once you have been enlightened to this ongoing atrocity, you cannot unsee it. And forever, Gaza will be the graveyard of its invaders. And every single occupier have left Gaza with Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. This is why we give this back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it is, we cannot deny the subhanahu wa ta'ala, His miracle is in Gaza that we are witnessing today. We are seeing it ahead of our eyes. How can we not learn from this? How can we not educate ourselves? How can we not awaken ourselves and give back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You've already you've known this, okay? This community out here, I am strong due to the people like around us here. I am strong and we will continue advocating because of your commitment, because of your dedication. Wallah al-Azim, all your friends and families will watch you doing this demonstration today. I know they feel proud of you, but at the same time, they will feel ashamed of themselves and why they didn't actually come and join you. And it is your role to actually educate them and to tell them about why we're doing this, because this fight will keep going. It will not stop. It is not something that we are going to sit back and relax. Our hard work stays now. And like we always say, inshallah, we will see you on the ongoing action. And inshallah, you will be standing with every single person that is raising this flag. I do not care about the Palestinian petty movement, or I don't care about all these other organizations that are out here that are going to think about dividing us and inciting all this division. We do not pay attention to any of that, because here we focus on our message and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. This is our intent. You feel us and you feel our energy that we give back to this community. We do not care about any other drama that is happening out there. It's because we are an ongoing extension to the resistance that is happening in Palestine, and we will continue advocating, inshallah, for the complete liberation of the land, 27,027 kilometers squared, down to its rightful owners. Do not negotiate what is rightfully yours. Never negotiate what is rightfully yours. So as we give back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are going to pray Asr, and then there is another event that is happening in Oakville, I believe. It's called Motani. It's a great time for you to get to know your community, and some of our members are going to be joining over there. So without further ado, may Allah accept our efforts. May Allah actually keep us steadfast on His path. May Allah enlighten our hearts. May Allah keep us strong and protect us from every single evil. May Allah actually guide us on the right path, no matter how difficult, or no matter how much this system is trying to silence us. And this system will not be able to shut us down, because we have pure hearts and our message is clear, inshallah. And without further ado, teach your children that Palestine is occupied. Teach your children that the Al-Aqsa Mosque is held captive. Teach your children that the Zionist entity is an enemy. Teach your children that the resistance is an honor. And teach your children that there is no such country called Israel. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.